Liam Neeson is back in a crime thriller film called Marlowe, and this time he doesn't need a special set of skills. He's not going to tell you need more men, and this is not a revenge tale. So how is this film? Well, let's talk about it. In late 1930s Bay City, a brooding down-on-his-luck detective is hired to find the ex-lover of a glamorous heiress. The film stars Liam Neeson, Diane Kruger, Jessica Lange, Brenda Ron, Alan Mahoney, Stella Stocker, Francois Arnaud, Daryl Da Silva, and many others, and was directed by Neil Jordan, who has done films like Interview with a Vampire, The Company of Wolves, and Greta. You may be asking yourself, I've never heard of this film, Ryan. Is this any good, and is this like a Taken film? Well, this film is not like a Taken film, and I only saw the trailer for this film only once. I never saw it actually play in a theater, and this time it's set in the 1930s, and I think that they capture the lighting and the way that a 1930s noir film should be shot. The film does start out rather quickly, as you have Liam Neeson's character. He is a detective, and you have this woman played by Diane Kruger. She comes in and she wants to find the whereabouts of her ex-lover as he is missing. The film, it has a very slow burn pace, a very dreadful pace. I can be a fan of slow burn films, but when there isn't a lot going on, and in this film, there isn't a big score presence in this film, so you never feel like there is a very deep connection to the film with music. And you don't feel like you have a very deep connection with these characters, as the film is very talky. It's a very heavy driven dialogue film, and I can guarantee if you're really tired, you may fall asleep during this movie because it's a very quiet movie as it goes from scene to scene. I had 3 people in my theater, and a couple actually tapped out and they ended up leaving. So I can see where this film is going to have problems really capturing an audience's attention, as I really had trouble and really struggled really getting into this film, really getting into any characters. You can take a shot every time you see somebody smoking in this film. There's only 2 action scenes in the first 70 minutes of the film, and you can honestly blink and miss them, as they have very quick editing styles. For example, in one of the fighting scenes, he karate chops a couple of men. He hits a guy in the back with a chair like he's in WWE, and then he says, "I'm too old for this shit," and the scene cuts. And that's what I mean in this film. It lacks any power or any strength to really draw you into the film. There's no emotional feeling to the film, and the dialogue doesn't help. For example, if you're ever talking to someone and you're having a really serious conversation, and as you're talking about this very serious topic, the person goes, okay, and shows no emotion. There are scenes like this in this film, and that's where I felt very detached in this film, because you have a lot of different dialogue pieces to this film that is trying to elevate the film, but it never really does elevate the film. It comes off as very dull, very boring. The film is an hour and 50 minutes, and it honestly feels like it should end about 3 or 4 different times in this film due to the way that this film is structured. Now, the last action scene in this film, it's probably the best about the whole film, I would say. But again, that last action scene, even though there is some action going on, it's very brief, and the resolution, it ends very quickly. So it doesn't really feel like it has a big impact by the film actually wrapping up at that point. And even so, they have that last action scene there. It honestly doesn't wrap up at that point. There's other scenes that they add into the film. So I think the editing in this film, and I think that the way that they wrote this film, I just don't think it's very strong. It's very disappointing, especially for a director of this caliber that's written some decent films. I think this one is a miss, and I think this one you should definitely skip and not give it a watch. I would give a score of this film a 1 out of 5. I didn't have a good time watching this film. And again, Liam Neeson, I think he's also too old for the role for this film. It's very weird in this film because he's 70 years old at this point, and I just don't really buy into the fact that he's a detective here. There's a couple scenes in this film where Diane Kruger is hitting on him, and it's just really awkward, and it's just, I can't get into that portion of the film, and I'm not sure why they give some of the dialogue that they give these characters, because I think the actual actors in this film, I think they have potential to be in better films, and I think the way that this film was actually written, I don't think it did any favors to any of the actors or actresses in this film. Let me know in the comments, are you guys going to check out this film? Is it something that you're interested in? I understand with Liam Neeson films, a lot of people are probably tired of his films at this point, but if you did check it out, let me know what you thought about the film. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it kind of meh? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys on my next review.